Hello and welcome to Mellow Labs. On today's episode, we're talking about these non-contact temperature sensors. How do they work? How do I set them up? Do they work through glass? All of these will be answered after this short message from today's sponsor. JLCPCB. With 19 years of experience and 5 state-of-the-art factories, it's no wonder that over 5.4 million engineers across 180 plus countries rely on their reliable and affordable services. Getting started is easy. Simply upload your Gerber files, get an instant quote, and place your order within minutes. It's just that easy. Whether you're prototyping or producing in volume, JLCPCB offers unbeatable pricing with 1 to 8 layer PCBs starting from just $2. But it's not just affordability. JLCPCB delivers premium quality with lightning turnaround times. Your boards can be ready within as little as 24 hours. All thanks to their fully in-house production process, which ensures quality control at every stage. And right now, there's an exclusive offer where you can get 6-layer PCBs for just $5 with $30 off of your first order. If you're ready to take your electronic projects to the next level, visit JLCPCB. Let's start with the basics. What are they? Well, as the name implies, they are non-contact temperature sensors, which means they can tell you the temperature of a surface without having to be in direct contact with the surface. DFRobot sent me these for free just to play around with, so I'll leave some links down below. Thank you, DFRobot. No money has exchanged hands. They are built on top of the same IR thermometer module, specifically the MLX90614 thermometer module. The only difference between these two is the lens. This one has a 35-degree field of view, and this one has a 5-degree field of view. So think of this as kind of like a zoom lens. If you wanted to use these to measure the temperature of something like a 3D printer, you would use this one for the print bed because it's got a wider field of view, and this one for the hot end because it can really focus in on a small point. This is actually the same exact sensor I used in my mug warmer project. You can see it at the back there, where if I place my mug over here, it checks the temperature of the mug, and if it's below a certain threshold, it turns on the heated plate underneath to warm it back up. If you're interested in this video, I'll leave it linked at the end of this episode. Some other useful information is that they can be powered with 3.3 to 5 volts, and they communicate over I2C, which means they'll pretty much work with any microcontroller you might have available, and they have an accuracy of plus minus half a degree. And in this episode, I'll show you how to set one up with an ESP32 and the Raspberry Pi Pico. Connecting the module to an ESP32 couldn't be easier. You just grab the cable that comes with the module, plug it in, and if you have something like an ESP32, this is a Fire Beetle, again from DFRobot, which has a breakout for their gravity connector, which is just a fancy way of saying it's an I2C connector. You literally just plug it in, make sure you've got power going into the power side, and all the other ones should line up, and that's it. Now we just get into programming. So let's start by opening up the Arduino IDE. We're going to go to libraries and we're going to look up the name of the sensor that we're using. And there's a couple different libraries in here, but we want to use the DFRobot one. I'm sure the other ones will probably work just fine, but DFRobot website says I should use this one. So that's what I'm going to do. And after that installs, we can plug in our ESP32. And we're going to go up here, select the one we're using. We're going to go to Tools and Enable CDC on boot, because otherwise we're not going to get a terminal output. Make sure it's actually the ESP that we are currently using. And we can go to File, Examples, and scroll all the way down. And we should have 2 different examples in here. We have Get Data, which will just give you the data you want from the sensor, and we have Set Sensor, which lets you adjust some of the offsets and things like that for the sensor, but we're just going to get the Get Data one, wait for it to load, and now we can just click Upload and wait for that to happen. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? Connection timed out. Okay, this is something I don't understand about Arduino. Why are all of these ports? I have no other device connected to this computer apart from this ESP32. Why are all of these coming up as exactly the same thing? I don't even know which port it is now. Okay, it's port 6 apparently. Cool, so let's select that one and upload again. If someone can explain that to me, I'd be very grateful. Okay, we're actually uploading, hooray. And it's uploaded. So now if we open up our serial monitor, we are getting temperatures. So if I point this little sensor at myself, we should be getting a warm reading. There it is. So we have ambient temperature and object temperature. Object temperature is what it's actually measuring, and ambient temperature is another temperature sensor that is actually in the module itself, and it kind of uses that as a weird offset to know exactly what the temperature is that it's receiving from the IR. So it's using a fancy mathematical equation that I have no clue what it means, but it makes the temperature readings good, I think. As far as I know, it works pretty well. And just to prove that it's actually the exact same module, I can unplug it and plug in the other one, and it works exactly the same. Apart from that, to get my temperature, I need to bring it a lot closer. Right, let's move on to the Raspberry Pi Pico. Actually, before I continue, I want to talk about distance. Specifically, how far away can we get these sensors from the object we're trying to measure? That's a perfect meter. Nice. For the module with the 35-degree field of view, we'd want an object to be quite close depending on the size of the object, but something like a mug, we'd want that to be quite close so that it can tell the temperature accurately, because the more it sees, the more of that temperature it averages. It's not a thermal camera. It doesn't see different points and tell you the temperature of them. It just sees the one area that you tell it. So if I put an ice cube on a 3D printer bed, I won't get a cold spot. I'll just have a lower temperature because it averages it out. It does have a little mathematical thing in it to skew towards the warmer, but it will drop the average temperature of what it's looking at. So what about the module with the 5-degree field of view? Can I use it to check my neighbor's temperature from across the road? Unfortunately, no, because the field of view does get wider. It's not a laser, they do get bigger the further away you go. So for example, at just 15 centimeters, the size that it's measuring is a 1.3 centimeter diameter, about there. And then at 30 centimeters, that gets quite a bit bigger at 2.6 centimeters, about there. And at just 1 meter, the spot becomes a hell of a lot bigger. So if I put this sensor at the 1 meter mark, that's the spot it sees all the way at the other end, which is pretty decent considering how far away it is. Unfortunately, I can't think of many applications to utilize this. I can't think of many things I'd want to measure the temperature of that far away. Maybe let me know down in the comments below after hitting the like and subscribe button, obviously. But that doesn't really answer the question I asked. What is the max distance that this sensor can read temperature at? And under ideal conditions, meaning no wind, no sun, indoors, and you have a surface that fully encapsulates the field of view of this sensor, no matter how far away it is, apparently it's infinite, but I would take that with the biggest grains of salt. I would put this as a usable distance of like 3 to 5 meters, because the thing becomes so... the field of view becomes so big, you need a huge thing to actually sense the temperature of. Maybe you could use this for like a fireplace, where like you don't want a sensor to get too close, but then we have like decent temperature sensors to like read fireplace temperatures. I'm still struggling to find a use for this. Let's continue with the tutorial. So to connect the sensor to the Raspberry Pi Pico, I'm actually going to use a slightly different cable. This one didn't come with the module, but it came with a different DF Robot product, and the only difference is that the pins at the end are, these ones aren't connected together, and these ones are, but this connector is exactly the same, and that will just make it a lot easier for me to plug it into the Pico, which has the pins a little more spread out than the ESP32 I was using. So the red is going to go to 3.3 volts, black is going to go into ground, and then we've got data, which is on, I believe, the blue pin, green. So green goes to pin 0, and blue goes to pin 1, and that's my clock and data. So let's get to programming. Let's open up my editor of choice for Micropython, which is Thorny. If you use a different one, that's fine too. Let's plug in my Pico, make sure it's actually selected down here. fantastic. And I have this little script pre-made. There are a couple different scripts that actually use like libraries and stuff, but after discussing this with a higher power, it gave me this script that just does everything in one, and it prints out the values. So if we just click run, it actually gives me the temperature readings. And again, I can just point this at myself and it works perfectly. And it should also work with the other module if I just unplug it and do that. Oh, the script crashed. So let's rerun. And we're getting temperature again. Perfect. I will leave this script linked down below, all 52 lines of it, because it really is that simple. So now let's play around with the sensor and see what it can and can't do. I've got a fresh cup of tea here, and if I place it in front of the sensor, we shall see that it's actually 49 degrees. Is it just because it's getting the lip? 55 degrees, fantastic. So now I want to see if I can put transparent things in between and see if I'm still getting the temperature. So first of all, I wanted to try glass, but I don't have a plane of glass, so this lid will have to do. So if I put that in front of the sensor, no. I thought it would work through it because it's transparent, but it seems that the answer is no. Bummer. Let's try some plexiglass. Now, this is from a frame. It makes a very wibbly wobbly sound, and if I put it in between, it also does not work. That is extremely disappointing. Right, let's try the final thing. My final test is a mirror. I want to see if I can actually like bounce it off of the mirror and into the mug. So maybe reflections will work. Ah! Phone's still recording. We're all good. Cameraman never dies. Okay, let's try that again. So if I line up my mirror with the sensor and my cup of tea. Hold on, that's okay. Let's lower that down slightly. Are we getting the temperature of the mug? Yes, we are. So if I move it there. With the previous two not working, I have very low hopes in this actually working. I'd say it bounces. I'd say maybe here-ish. So the answer is you have to use it in direct line of sight of whatever you want to measure. Mirrors or glass will not work. That's a little disappointing, but it kind of makes sense. Alright, so if you enjoyed this episode, do all the things down below. If you want to see me play around with other sensors and things, let me know down below. And give me ideas for what you'd use these kind of sensors for. I'm open to ideas. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Support me on Patreon if you can. And I'll see you on next week's live stream. Goodbye. I got very distracted.